there's not one thing, but everything, because he was a nice guy. He was easy to work with. You learned from him. He always taught you working with Jim was like learning a life lesson.
He just made you feel like you were part of one big family. He was the greatest guy to work with. He taught me a lot. If I didn't know something, he'd help me. He taught me how to run audio for Polytalk.
He contributed his heart into it. He really did more than one show, and he just loved what he was doing, and he just put everything into it.
Jim was probably one of the most positive people that I've ever met. Whenever you would ask him, how you doing? He would say, pretty good, even though he wasn't.
If giving was to be measured, the needle would be off the charts, because he gave so much.
He volunteered a lot of his time to help out with the community, for the community of Kenosha. There was a lot of things that Jim was there for.
He was a fighter right up to the end. He fought the cancer. He came and volunteered with the Frank Neighborhood Project, and he wasn't 25 years old. He was out there working harder than a lot of people. I couldn't even keep him to sit down.
And he did that even while he was dying of cancer. A lot of people did not know how sick he was. He didn't let on too much. When he couldn't do it, when he had Jim Otis substitute for him, that he was really in a bad way at that time, because he was so difficult to get him to surrender his responsibilities as he saw them.
He always wanted to be involved. Jim went to the board meetings, and he wasn't on the board. He did that for years. Jim allowed himself to be drugged all over the state to do videotaping sessions. Jim would volunteer to help on the committees. Jim did everything he could, because that's the way he was.
Very soft-spoken, very caring person, would do anything for anyone. He was a great asset here for Channel 14. He was even an asset for me when I was doing my pet shop show. He would pick me up, take me to all the destinations, and he was my #1 cameraman, my right-hand guy.
I drugged that poor man all over the state, everywhere.
He could get along with anybody. I don't care who it was. I mean, we're unlike some of us, we can't do that, but Jim had that in him.
He did not give too many examples of foibles of his own that you could sit there and make have a fond remembrance of, because he was always so on top of things.
I can't say enough good things about Mr. Schlichting, and like I said, he made you feel like you were family. In fact, it was kind of funny. One year in the KCM program, they misspelt my last name. Next thing you knew, Jim had a son, Richard Schlichting, but we laughed about it all the time.
And he managed to assemble the best crew in Kenosha community media, and he had trained a lot of people. Many people have come through and have gotten trained by Jim, who has always had patience and the right attitude toward it. And everybody who worked with Jim thought he was just a great guy to work with.
He was a very great guy. He's very sadly missed, and it's more than just friends here at the studio. He was like family. He was a hell of a good guy, and it's sometimes hard to carry on without him here.
Channel 14 will greatly miss this man who gave so much.
He mentored a lot of individuals. He was a big help to a lot of people. He was helping different volunteers, and he always made people feel comfortable about doing what we do here, and made this very enjoyable to work with him. And it's still something I enjoy, helping out and volunteering, even if it's just on audio. Working in the studio back here, and he was a great guy to teach you things, and one of these days I'm going to learn the board and Jim will be happy for me.